Hey guys, it's Laura. Welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be my August book haul. Yes, I did dye my hair. Didn't come out the way I wanted it to, but I'm not mad at it. I like it. I wanted something lighter. I was really tired of the black or the really dark brown. So I dyed it and I like it. I like it. I'm just gonna keep changing my hair every month. Why not? Okay, so I did buy some books in the month of August. Not a lot. I bought 10 books. I had every intention of not buying books this month. I had like one book that I was gonna buy for a readathon, one book I was gonna buy for a read-along, but besides that I wasn't planning to buy anything. But then Barnes & Noble was having their hashtag book haul sale, you know, 50% off hundreds of hardcovers, and I couldn't say no to that. Like, I couldn't say no. So I went in one weekend, I bought a bunch of books, some that were 50% off, some that weren't. So yeah, that's where most of these books are from. So the first book I have here, I actually picked up at my local used bookstore. I go in there from time to time. I probably go in there like once a month, just to see what they have, because they're always getting in new things. And I found this book. This is The Games House by Claire North. I have heard of Claire North. I haven't read anything by this author, but this sounded really interesting to me. So I'll just read you the back. It says, everyone has heard of the Games House, but few know all of its secrets. It is the place where fortunes can be made and lost through chess, backgammon, every game under the sun. But those whom fortune favors may be invited to compete in the higher league, where the games played are of politics and nations, of economics and kings. It is a contest where capture the castle involves real castles and where hide and seek takes place on the scale of a continent. Among those worthy of competing in the higher league, 3 unusually talented contestants play for the highest stakes of all, ... So this sounds really interesting. I think I read like the first 2 chapters and liked the writing style well enough, so I'm excited to give this one a try. This seems like it would be a really great like autumn read, so excited to have that. Let me know if you've read this. I've never heard anything about it. Next, I picked up this beautiful illustrated edition of Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. This is the 3rd book in the Farseer trilogy, and I've been enjoying this series, so I decided to pick up this fancy edition because the paperbacks are like, they're not floppy paperbacks, they're very stiff and difficult to read, if that makes sense. So I wanted to get a hardcover, especially because this one, the final book, is like 800 and something pages. So I got this beautiful edition. It's so pretty. I mean, just look at that. And there's the back and the spine. It's just so like well made and well bound. Let me pull that out of it. There we go. It's just so well made and well bound. It also is illustrated. There are stunning illustrations throughout. Let me see if I can find one. Here's one. I mean, look at that. It's so gorgeous. So yeah, that's really enhancing the reading experience. I am currently reading it. I'm like a little over halfway through right here and enjoying my time so far. So I'm excited to keep reading this one. But yeah, I'm really glad that I went ahead and got myself the fancy hardcover edition. I do need to get the other 2 eventually so that they all match, but yeah. The next book I have here, I actually got from Target. I think we were back to school shopping actually with the kids, and of course I had to like take a peek at their book section, and I decided to pick up The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. I'm very excited for this. I really enjoyed his first book, which was The Silent Patient. I know that people either love that or hate it. I've seen a lot of people hating it lately, but I really loved it. And I like his writing, and so I'm really excited to read this, which is supposed to be like this dark academia type thriller. I don't know much beyond that. I haven't wanted to know more. I haven't looked into it, haven't read the synopsis. I'm just really excited to give this one a read. I was planning to pick it up in October and read it then, but when I saw it at Target and it was like, I don't know, 20 or 30% off, I decided to just pick it up. And I definitely will be reading this in October though, and I'm really excited. And I love this cover. I love it. I think it's so pretty. Okay, and then I think the rest of these I picked up from Barnes & Noble. So the first one here is Hurricane Summer, and this is by Asha Bromfield. This I'm going to be reading in September for the Diversathon. It is finally my month to host the Diversathon, and we're going to be reading books set in Jamaica, which is what this is. We're following a girl who has a very strained relationship with her father, I believe. He spends most of his time in Jamaica, where he's from, and I believe she lives in the States with her mom. And she is going to be spending the summer with her father in Jamaica. Family drama on the backset of this hurricane coming through. It just sounds really, really good, and I'm excited to give this a read. And this is one of the most stunning covers I've ever seen. I just love it. Like, I love the rain falling down on the person on the cover, and underneath the dust jacket is just as beautiful. We've got this beautiful like butterfly imprint. I love the color of this so much. Oh my goodness. And then the end papers are stunning. There is this beautiful artistic rendition of Dunn's River Falls, and it's gorgeous. So I'm very happy to have this, and I'm really excited to give it a read next month. The next book I picked up is Vampires Never Get Old, and this is an anthology edited by Zoraida Cordova and Natalie C. Parker. This has stories from Samara Ahmed, Danielle Clayton, Tessa Gratton, Julie Murphy, Marco Shiro, Rebecca Roanhorse, and V.E. Schwab. This was one of my most anticipated books, and I never got around to picking it up. Did it come out this year, or was it last year? No, it was last year. Yeah, it was one of my most anticipated books of last year, and I never picked it up. And so when I saw it there, it was 50% off. I'm like, yes, absolutely. This has V.E. Schwab's short story in it that is currently being adapted for Netflix, which I'm really excited to watch. So I'm really excited to read the story first. And I mean, like the title says, vampires never get old. I love a good vampire story, so I'm excited to check this one out. Maybe I'll pick it up in October. We'll see. I have a lot of books set aside to pick up in October, but it's fine. The next book I picked up is Small Favors by Erin A. Craig. I don't think this one was 50% off, but it was like their YA book club pick, so I think it was like 20% off or something like that. This is Erin A. Craig's second book. Her first one was House of Salt and Sorrows, which is kind of like this fantasy, YA fantasy with horror elements that I really, really enjoyed. I thought it was so atmospheric, and I really enjoyed her writing, so of course I had to pick up her next book. This one seems like it's going to be along similar lines. I think it's somewhat of a thriller, maybe with some horror aspects. I don't know too much about it, and that's because I don't want to know too much about it, but I know that it takes place in like this small town, monstrous things in the woods, and you know how I feel about creepy woods. I love them, so I'm excited to give this one a read. I think it's going to be amazing. Plus the cover. Let's just look at the cover because it's stunning, absolutely. And underneath the dust jacket, oh, the end papers, look at that, so gorgeous. And then the spine has all these bees on it, and it's just so pretty. If you couldn't tell, I adore bees, so I love this cover so much, and I'm really excited to read it. Next, I picked up Becky Chambers' new novella, and I think this is the start of a new series by them. This is A Psalm for the Wild Built. It's very short. It's about, I believe, robots. Robots one day like gained sentience, and then they kind of decided not to serve men anymore, and they took off into the wilderness, and no one ever saw them again, and it's been like hundreds of years, and they've basically become just like this myth at this point. But then a robot stumbles across a tea monk in the wilderness, and the story kind of goes from there. It sounds kind of wild, but I love Becky Chambers' writing. I really do. I read To Be Taught If Fortunate, and I absolutely adored it. So I'm really excited to give this one a read, and I'll probably get to it sooner rather than later because it's really short, so I can squeeze it in somewhere. But yeah, very excited about this. Becky Chambers writes like very hopeful sci-fi, and I love it so much. The next book I picked up was Wings of Ebony, and this is by J.L. I've heard really great things about this. This was another book that I think I mentioned in an anticipated releases video. I don't remember. And I don't know too much about it. I don't remember too much about it, but I think this is like portal fantasy, urban fantasy, something like that. We're following Rue. So it says that Rue's mom is murdered and she's snatched away by a father who abandoned her at birth, a father who now insists she follow him to his home, Gizon, a secret country of gods who wield powerful magic. So this sounds really great. I am still like trying to find YA urban fantasy that I really enjoy. I don't tend to love it that much anymore, but I have read a couple lately that I really enjoyed. So hopefully I will love this one. And like I said, I've heard really great things about it. And once again, another stunning cover. And underneath the dust jacket has these wings on it. It's so pretty. The second to last book I picked up was The Rising Storm, which is part of the new High Republic series in the Star Wars universe. This is the second book to Light of the Jedi, which I read earlier this month and really enjoyed it. I talked about it in my mid-month wrap-up if you want to check that out. But I had such a great time with it, and it was my first experience with Star Wars novels, and I think it started like a whole new thing for me. Like, I really want to read more Star Wars novels. So I picked up the second one. Really excited to give this one a read, especially excited to learn more about the villain from the first book because I really enjoyed their perspective. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, so it came with a poster. It's a two-sided one, so that's one side, and then that's the other side. Very pretty. I will probably take this out and try to hang it somewhere, and I do need to take the sticker off. I'm just scared because has anyone else noticed that like Barnes & Noble stickers are really difficult to get off? I tried taking off the YA book club sticker off of this one, and it was horrible. It was just a horrible experience. So now I'm nervous to take this one off. I might just leave it on. I don't know. Finally, like the whole reason that I went in store for Barnes & Noble's hashtag book haul sale was for this book, because I checked online first to see kind of what they had, and I saw this one and I was like, oh yes, I am definitely gonna get that one. And then I went there and they didn't have it. So I had to come home and order it online, but it was fine. And that is Sorrowland by Rivers Solomon. This is Rivers Solomon's newest book. I have only read, what was it called? The Deep by them. I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed their writing. So I'm excited to read this. And this is adult horror, I believe. Once again, I don't know too much about it. So the synopsis says, Vern, 7 months pregnant and desperate to escape the strict religious compound where she was raised, flees for the shelter of the woods. There she gives birth to twins and plans to raise them far from the influence of the outside world. But even in the forest, Vern is a hunted woman. Forced to fight back against the community that refuses to let her go, she unleashes incredible brutality far beyond what a person should be capable of. Her body racked by inexplicable and uncanny changes. That's all I want to read. I'm very excited to give this one a read. Once again, I'm thinking that I'm going to pick it up in October because it seems like it's going to have some pretty spooky elements, and that excites me very much. There's something about this cover, even though it seems simple when you first look at it, but if you look closely, there's like a hand. I didn't notice that for a while, but there's a hand there with the flowers around it. I love it. Those are all the books that I bought in the month of August. 10 books. But anyway, do let me know down in the comments if you have any thoughts or opinions on the books that I showed you. Let me know if you've read any of them, if you recommend them, or if you want to read any of them. You know I love hearing from you in the comments. But that is going to be it for this video. So if you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys!